Alright, hey everybody. Welcome back to NieR Far Wherever You Are. Okay. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Okay. Yeah. So I am gonna do one more side quest. I know I said I was done with side quests. That Celine Dion reset my brain for a second here and there. I thought this meant my quest was done, but I guess it means that fluorite. Yeah, I still need to buy that, but it says I don't need anything for the quest. Pretty weird. So, anyway. So what I'm going to do is make one more trip over to Facade. It's the last time I should need to go over there for a while. We will be getting to the Forest of Myth in this episode. It might be a little different than you're expecting. Let's just put it that way. So first, I'm gonna kill me some goats. Oops. Hoping for hides. There's another one. Nope. Oh, come on. It's gonna fuck me. I knew it! Yeah, I learned... Okay, at least I got one hide out of it. God, the controller glitched. I knew that once you move the camera away from the body and it's not in frame anymore, that body will disappear. Oh my god, little controller problems here. I can get a better angle. See, if you don't wait too long, it'll still be there. But if I were to like move the camera now, I really won't need that. Nope, nothing. But yeah, watch this. That guy's gone. Oh, now it's not doing it. See? Gone. Okay. At least I got one hide out of it. That's better than I was expecting. And I can hunt some more on the way back. Yeah, it kept pushing me forward when I stopped moving the controller. That's why I was like, what the fuck? I love how the color palette changes. There's supposed to be a new patch for Automata coming out pretty soon, the PC version. I know that there was a modded patch to make it run with a better frame rate, which even when I had a crappier video card, that still made a world of difference. But yeah, maybe the official patch will be better, hopefully. Won't need that other patch anymore. I am planning on playing Automata eventually. Probably not anytime soon, because it's going to be at least a month or two before this is over with. Well, I say that at least, probably at least 3 months. Unless I up the amount of episodes per week. We might have marathons if I get really into it. Okay, so I think it's in the material shop. That's what I think. It's either the material shop or the strange things shop. I might as well stop by the strange things shop while I'm here. See if they even have anything. Alright, nope, they don't have it. Guess it must be the strange things store. I don't want to talk to you.
Hey, do you have any fluorite for sale?
I'm sorry, sir, but the mine that supplied us with that material has been exhausted.
Oh, I see.
There may be some inside the barren temple. The rules, of course, forbid me from entering the temple. But if you were to go...
Well, we've come this far. Might as well finish the job.
Okay, I guess we're finishing the job. It shouldn't take very long. There was some news about Yoko Taro's new game today. I guess it's a mystery. He wants to keep it a mystery, so there's very little known about it. He said it's going to be way different than NieR, so it's not going to be like in the same series or anything. I mean, hopefully he sticks with it. Make something totally different. So I think he could make something pretty interesting. Well, it's not like these games are bad, but, you know, variety is the spice of life. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Baron Temple's up here. Now I have that doodad that'll let me go through the sandstorm. So I don't need a guide anymore. Wolf's chasing me. Stay away. Traffic jam. Okay, we're coming up on it. Oh, one of them got me. Where the hell am I going? Well, I'm at the Barren Temple now. Hopefully it's not too far in here. Remember this place. There we go. Fluorite. Does that mean I have everything I need? It said I had everything I need anyway. Obtain fluorite. Bring it to the man. Okay. Yep. Didn't take too long. Told you. It's actually about as quick as it could be. Oops. Not worth it. Come on, the slow down. At least it wasn't a part that's very important. Worth it. Oh, what? Meat. Meat. I should hope for hide. Nope, there's one hide, so now I got 3 more to go. Ooh, 2 more to go. Wow. It's up there. Lost Shrine. Okay. Can't believe I've already been to Shoe Shrines already. I'm gonna go back one more time to see if I can kill some more goats. So I'll be made in the shade if I can get 2 more goat hides. 1 more? It's 2 more. 2 more. Lost that other one. Alright, got one. 1 more to go! Damn it. Alright. Well, I got a plan B. Actually, I don't have a plan B. I thought I was going one way, but now I'm going the seaside, so I don't have a plan B. I'm just gonna get this done. Ah, cool, got it. Alright, I'm done. I'm not even gonna bother harvesting the other goats. Just take the win. Alright, one more trip to Seaside, and then it is Forest of Myth time. Take care of 2 quests this time. It'll be all the quests complete for part 1. There's only 1 more weapon to get, and that's all story based too. So from here on out, once I get to Seaside, it's all plot. Cat weather report came in. It's wet. I was reading an article about the English translation of NieR Replicant today. And it was kind of interesting. They said they even for the original game, they recorded the English voice acting before the Japanese. And I guess in the Japanese version, Kaine is censored. Like, she cusses a lot, but they use beeps. And I guess people got angry about that. Oh, I forgot I don't need to go here. It's both on opposite ends. Anyway, but when they were doing the translation and stuff, they're like, we know she cusses a lot. We could just kind of go nuts with it if that's what you want. And they were like, yeah, that's the point. It's supposed to be shocking. Just go nuts. And then eventually Square Enix came back with a list, and they're like, yeah, we're not sure about these. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to get fired, so
I've got all the stuff you asked for.
we're gonna take those out.
Your timing is, what's the word? Impeccable. They're gearing up to launch the trading vessel soon. As soon as the cargo's on the ship, I can get my business rolling. But if you want to help load it, I can throw in a little extra.
Sure,
no.
why not?
Oh, okay.
Wow, this is a mess.
Yeah, they're loading cargo from all sorts of traders onto this ship. It's kind of like, you know, egalitarianism.
Right. Anyway, leave it to me. We'll get this stuff organized in no time.
If you carry the cargo to the front of the ship, the crew can bring it inside for us.
Carry it over there. Got it.
If I may,
Yeah? What is it?
what are we doing here?
We're organizing this guy's stuff.
Let me rephrase myself. This man is looking to open his own business, yes?
Exactly.
Then would it not be more appropriate for him to take care of his own belongings?
The guy's in a pinch, Vice. We're just helping him out.
I yearn for the day when someone shows such kindness to us.
Okay, all done.
You're fantastic. Now we just have to wait for the ship to leave. You mind if I pay you after the transaction's complete? I can give you more money that way, and then everything will be, you know, awesome.
That's not the word I was expecting you to say. But sure, I can wait.
Thanks. Boy, the launch of this ship can't come soon enough.
So how much longer do I have to wait?
Ooh, the...
Maybe the quest guide will say more. Well, that's all I need to do, I guess, so... Guess I'll just keep checking the quests every once in a while.
Here's that ore you wanted.
Oh, thank you! Now maybe my girl will let me hold her hand. Here's the money for the material, and a little extra for your time.
Oh, that shit was expensive.
Huh? Oh, hold on. This is way too much.
Are you kidding? That's what fluorite costs you on the open market. I only threw in a few coins for your trouble.
It's really that expensive?
Hey, I learned my lesson last time. From now on, it's nothing but the best for my girl.
The human soul is an unfathomable thing indeed.
You got that right.
Do you think it possible that this man is being deceived by his lover?
Yeah, I do.
Probably.
Then we shall inform him at once.
Yeah, probably better if we don't.
What's this? Have you finally found someone you are unwilling to aid?
Look, relationships are messy, and sometimes you can't always understand what's going on between a couple.
There is nothing in this world that Grimoire Weiss cannot understand.
Book's got quite an ego on him for a floating book. Last thing was about Yona saying she thinks Kanye probably says nice things. Maybe kind of. Alright, so everything's done on the quest end. I have all the weapons I need except for one quest weapon, the one that I get on the quest. I still need to keep an eye out for it. But I know the general area. I can always reload if I miss it for some reason. Now after that introduction, it's time for the main event. So yeah, to recap the main plot, it opened with NieR, Yona, and the book were all in like an abandoned store. It was like in a city, with skyscrapers that were all abandoned and run down. And then it flashed forward to about 1,420 some years later, and they still look the same. NieR and Yorda. So I need to go the opposite way from the air again. Do that. Kind of have to do that with the boar. It's kind of like GTA when you have to jump out of your car every once in a while just to make it look cool. Looks like a forest of mist.
It sure is quiet here.
Such silence bodes ill. There's trouble on the way. I'm certain of it.
You know, a little optimism now and then wouldn't hurt, Vice.
Such cheek.
Better save it, just in case.
Beware the words.
The words? What do you mean?
Contagious words. Those who dream.
Those who dream?
Hold a moment. There is a strange new sensation in my mind.
Vice's voice rose in a quizzical way.
It is not quizzical.
What's going on?
The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes.
Perhaps we should start by asking this man.
Who are you?
We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help.
The mayor stared at NieR and Vice.
If you can speak to me, I must have caught you in my dream.
In your dream?
The mayor explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream had spread across the Forest of Myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. The village mayor had determined the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but he could learn more as the disease took but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Weiss stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly.
Now see here.
He said,
Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream?
Well, yes,
said the mayor,
I think you have.
In other words,
said NieR.
we've caught the death dream?
Before the mayor could confirm NieR's suspicion, Weiss exploded with rage.
Ridiculous. Preposterous. Completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep.
That's just how the death dream works.
Though polite, the mayor was clearly trying to brush aside the book's remarks.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool.
The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who NieR had seen and what they had discussed since coming to the village. Something must have caused you to enter my dream, said the mayor. A certain conversation? A specific word? Something? NieR and Weiss racked their brains, but could find no easy solutions. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations.
Grimoire Weiss does not engage in meaningless conversations.
The mere suggestion that Weiss chose his words carefully seemed to sting his pride. Carelessly seemed to sting his pride.
It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator. It has demolished it utterly.
Irritated. Excuse me, I took a drink. Irritated, Weiss looked skyward, as if searching for answers in the heavens.
I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already.
The anger created by his harsh words bled over to NieR like a contagion. Wait, NieR said suddenly. Did someone say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, the villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Weiss aside in the process. He must have said something, right? Said the mayor. Some specific combination of words? What was it? It was about dreaming, or something that dreams, or... Oh, what the hell was it? A sheep? Cried Weiss suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, NieR's face suddenly lit up. I remember! He said, those who dream. That's what he said, I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at NieR. That sounds right, he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect the people from whatever comes along. But I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. Should probably be taking notes or something. Weiss immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease and your dreams, he said. But perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping off the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular, and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. Once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. And I won't stop trying until it happens. NieR nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second. I didn't nod. Look. Wait. Look, if we can be of any help, said NieR, just ask. Now hold on. I did not just say that. Silence! Cried Weiss. The grimoire looked from NieR to the mayor, and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimvar Weiss's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor. You told us that nothing can exist in this dream without your knowing of it. But yet you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my God, he said. You're right. You're right. I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is a limitless engine, said Weiss, and the dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, he called to the departing forms of NieR and Weiss. We're all counting on you. As NieR slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck with a sense of deja vu. I saw this man once before, he thought. But where? NieR's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd be confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction. The moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Weiss was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging NieR to pick up the pace, or grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Weiss muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, NieR snapped. Okay, Weiss, cram it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk! NieR leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How could the stupid forest be so big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out at a volume that rattled his teeth. NieR slapped his hands over his ears when it screamed to be heard. Weiss! What's going on? NieR could see Weiss's mouth moving. They might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed. The forest howled. And then, just as NieR's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed his hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Zree, 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 zree. Chikakakak, chikakakak, chikakakak. Chikiki, chikiki, chikiki. Woo woo wooma, woo woo wooma. Chik 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 chik. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, NieR began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. This is not just white noise, it's something else. The insects weren't just calling out. They were asking a question. One with it is lacking. Two with it is ideal. Three with it is dangerous. What is it? Buy my pages. Is this a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels kind of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I'll leave it to you to answer. One with it is lacking, two with it is ideal, three with it is dangerous. So probably a secret. Inwardly furious that Weiss left the task to him, NieR's side and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret, right? The sound of insects stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before NieR like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest anthropods are making a road for us, said Weiss with glee. Pleased at passing the test, NieR moved on with a new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth. It gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said NieR after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do you not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend? We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, NieR picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. The surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Absurdly easy, barked Vice. Now answer it. NieR grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right, after all. This one is pretty easy. Enter through the window, break no glass. Night falls, I vanish. What am I? Sunlight? Yeah, sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected on the room, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, I said softly, I've never seen such a sight. Perhaps I've misunderstood the intentions of this place. Maybe that was Vice that said that. Hey, look! Cried NieR, waking Vice from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? Who would build a house all the way out here? NieR walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began NieR, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held up his hand up and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, but 3 in the night with 3. What am I? NieR tried to ask the cloaked man what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose. Well, at least an easy one. A man. Yeah, crawl, walk, and then we got the cave at the end. A man. Mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. And with that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor! Cried NieR. The small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. Sorry? What's that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the Death Dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned his heel and slammed the door behind him. As NieR watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When NieR and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they saw the mayor lean against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy! He cried. You made it! You actually made it back! His left hand grasped NieR's and pumped so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Vice by the cover and swung him through the air. Go up, by the heavens! Stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. NieR withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the Death Dream seal, he said. At least, I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as NieR filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, 3 of them lay down on the forest ground and fell asleep. NieR cocked his head. Okay, hang on a second. This is crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool! Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. NieR and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten, continued Vice, it is words that control the Death Dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. no matter how unnatural they may seem. The words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to go to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. This is the first time, I've felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, but he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, they had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Okay, they are coming back. I thought it was just going to keep going. NieR shook the mayor's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. I think we made it. Oh, wow, said the mayor in an odd voice. We did. I'm back. He blinked once, then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. You two have no idea how much this means. The death dream was spreading through our village, and if I wanted to, well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it. I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream. The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to earth. He stared at his legs, as if trying to remember how they worked, and glanced at NieR and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life may take some getting used to, said the mayor as a wry smile crossed his lips. You shall relearn in short order, I am sure, said Weiss. For now, you shall return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree, he explained when the prayer was finished. It's the guardian of our village history and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder, muttered Weiss. We should not put our faith in the gods. NieR shook his head. Not the gods, the words. The legend says our tree is home to a powerful magic known as a sealed verse. NieR and Weiss could not contain their surprise, seeing the gold had been found in this most unexpected of places. I say, muttered Weiss, this is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, NieR mentioned the strange man who would give them the third riddle, and the mysterious words he had left them with. Sorry. I once saw a version of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. What in the world does that mean? Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, this is going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before too. NieR tried to keep a straight face, and then failed. The mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Or maybe NieR saying that. Deja vu, right? I figure it was some kind of illusion created by the death dream. Probably doesn't mean anything. NieR gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. What exactly is going on here? That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Magical spikes to impale enemies. Cool.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Spirit caps. That's handy. What else we got around here? It's a house.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
Can't can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sorta creeps me out.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
Okay. I breathe the air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in the single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. "Anyone there?" I hear an unfamiliar voice say. "My savior!" I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help, I laugh, I sob. Certainly this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. "Anyone there?" Oh. "Help me," I cry. "For the love of all the gods, help me!" Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out, falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy and a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I'm forced to turn away. "Who are you?" I asked, shaking hands covering my face. "How have you come to this place?" "I am Grimvar Weiss. This is NieR. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together." The one known as NieR extended his hand and pulled me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. "Never thought to hear that again," I whisper. "Would that this were not such a terrible storm," said Grimvar Weiss. "Look at your feet!" I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles, lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. "Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but your only hope to survive this place." Time, the long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers. no matter what the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter that has been shoved against the side of a wall. To fight my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch the piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization totally dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I faced a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. My sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness. I find myself opening the door and leaving this most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors. Oh man. This is why I wanted to do this streaming. Let's go south. Well, if we went north, south would be where we came from, so let's go east. North. At the end of the path, a row of heavy wooden casks lie on their sides in the dark chamber. Doubtless they are filled with wine. My thirst roars to life. I cannot remember the last time my parched throat had relief. I scramble to the first cask and pull frantically at the cork. The theft of a few cups means nothing, I tell myself. The cask will be ruined by the flood regardless. Finally, the cork surrenders to my attack, and thick red liquid bursts forth from the hole. This is no wine. It is blood still warm from the body, whether animal or something else I cannot say. The foul liquid soon mixes with the rising floodwaters, creating a warmth that laps against my thighs. By all the gods! Are the rest of these casks filled with blood as well? I lack the courage to confirm my suspicion. Disgust quickly becomes fear as I turn to flee. My weakened legs betray me, sending me toppling over into the red ocean below. The smell of death is everywhere. It threatens to consume me. I must escape this hell. Crawling on all fours like an animal, holding back screams lest any foulness enter my mouth, I lurch forward through the red waters and out to the room to freedom. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed east. I squint down the dim corridors. Let's go east again. At the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rest china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head. But as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of this feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects has made their homes in the remains, and this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands upon the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run up from the seat, up the back, and not down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. For if not, it is a simple task to envision the antagonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouth. My mind gasps frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was the punishment. Although in truth I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. Squint down the dim corridors. Well, let's try going north. Because I headed east to get here, so west would just be going back. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. Break it down! Someone cries, and so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with NieR and Grimoire Vice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat, the clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears join the rain in my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in shatters. I sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asks Vice. Then you're a woman, madame? I am. I pour off her the to a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as NieR is disappointed that the torrid dress would be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing countless of damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, unaccountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades.
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Thank you so much for saving me. I never want to have a dream like that again.
See, my voice was basically just like that. Right? Oh boy. Maybe I'm gonna save it just in case. Alright, well, bad news, we gotta do that again, but good news, it looks like this is the last one, so... Unless there's some other villagers hiding around here. I mean, that mayor seemed pretty high and mighty if there's only 2 villagers in town.
And another victim. This work certainly is trying.
I figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Vice.
Even I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. Vice and NieR had never seen such a sight, and their eyes widened as they tried to take it in.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away. What do you think, Vice?
As Vice considers answers, the sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity.
Perhaps they are some manner of mirage.
He said, under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. NieR nodded. Okay. Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. NieR nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made NieR lightheaded. His feet hurting, he crouched down to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Is someone playing a joke on us or what? The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke? He said. No, no joke. This road leads to the City of Art. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not, but thinking of it this way might make it easier for you to bear. He glanced at Weiss's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. As time passed, NieR's feet grew more painful, and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead, because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. "We are definitely getting closer," said Weiss, in an effort to cheer his companion. "Yes, this much is certain." Encouraged, NieR lifted his gaze. Suddenly he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open, and his finger pointing in the distance. "Water!" he cried. "It's water!" "Water?" says Weiss. "Preposterous. I don't see any water." "Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun is reflecting off of it." Without waiting for response, NieR sprang to life and bounded toward the sight. What in the... There was no water. There was nothing but sand in every direction. NieR closed his eyes and sighed as Weiss floated up behind him and chuckled softly. "I believe this is known as a mirage," he said. "Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things." NieR shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. "Wait, there it is! I just missed it! Look, it's right there!" NieR sprinted off again, leaving Weiss no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, NieR came to a halt. "I could have sworn it was right around here." Confused, he put his hands to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue, shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until exasperated Weiss finally floated to NieR and struck him in the face with his cover. "Enough, you blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here!" And his face clouded. "There isn't?" "There is not! And perhaps next time you'll listen to me when I tell you as much." Weiss paused for a moment, and then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. "However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the City of Art." NieR looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. "They're huge!" cried NieR, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. "I've never seen anything so big." Each sculpture was formed from roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched up toward the sky, but that is where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected light in 1,000 directions, while there seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires at their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. "What kind of city is this?" said NieR. "Where are the people? Where are the houses?" "Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use." The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silent on steel rails. Beautifully carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, while many were composed of materials they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles were staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, NieR and Weiss eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shapes of humans. NieR uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. "Finally! I was getting tired of modern art." The 3 statues were indistinguishable except for a single word chiseled into their right arms. One read Alpha, one read Beta, and the final one read Gamma. As NieR moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures, alighting on the statue's shoulder and emitted a beautiful song that took the form of words. "Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will only speak lies." And with that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the 3 statues shuddered to life. Acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. "Hey, look at that," said NieR. "They're alive." The triplets bowed low before NieR. Please, said Alpha. You have to get me out of this nightmare. I'm real. Stop lying, said Beta. He turned to NieR and threw his hands in the air. Alpha's a fake, you know. I'm the real one. What a load of crap, said Gamma. Beta's fake. Everyone knows that I'm the only real one around here. Their respective pleas given, the three statues returned to the frozen state as silence once again enveloped the city. Because if two of them are saying they're real, or all three of them are saying they're real, but the only two are accusing the others of being fake. When you consider all of the statements, only one of them could be the real thing, said Weiss. NieR furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. The real one is Alpha. The eyes of the statue shone with an eerie light. The light grew stronger and stronger until NieR and Weiss were forced to turn away.
It would seem we failed.
Yeah,
We'd best act more carefully.
this is the worst job ever.
And another,
I figured a book like you would be into all...
even I.
I really have to go through all of this again. Oh my god. Well, that is a punishment for getting it wrong, I suppose. At least I don't have to read it again. So, if I said it was Alpha, he's a liar. And they say the middle one says Alpha's fake, and that they know that they're the real one. And Gamma says that the second one's fake, and they know that they're the real one. I'm thinking it's the second one, because they can't be lying about Alpha. Though NieR's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Weiss nodding at him. If Alpha were telling the truth, began Weiss in the dry tones of a lecturer, Beta and Gamma would be fakes. But in that case, Gamma's claim that Beta is fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar. Therefore, that theory crumbles. Now, let us presume that Gamma spoke the truth. It makes Alpha and Beta liars. In this situation, however, Beta is calling Alpha a liar, which will leave us with two statues telling the truth. Finally, let's assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense. Therefore, Beta must be real. As Weiss finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. Congratulations, villager, said Weiss in a cheerful voice. The time to awaken has arrived. Thank you for saving me, cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before an uncomfortable NieR pulled him to his feet. Why did you have a dream like this? Asked Weiss. Have you been to the city before? The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape and shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's impossible, right? There's no way I could ever have been to a place like this. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before. Deja vu, muttered NieR, just like the mayor. The vague sense of unease that struck NieR during the mayor's dream spread once more through his mind.
That was rough.
I am positive I have seen that place before.
Okay, that's enough. Don't need you getting all weird on me too. Okay, there. Now all the villagers can wake up, right?
Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct. I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much.
You're telling me. Anyway, let's go see the mayor.
Oh, how wonderful. Thank you so much. Here, I have something for you.
Wow, this looks valuable. I can really have it?
Of course. It's apparently a weapon of some renown, but we have little use for it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you again for everything.
Okay. Alright, well that's the end of the Forest of Myth. Hope you all enjoyed that. I'm going to give my voice box a little breather, and I will see you tomorrow with another Brute Force. Bye-bye.